Microprose has just released its brand new World War II title, 1944 Across the Rhine. This game puts the player in the final months of the war, right after D-Day, as a tank commander in the invasion of Western Europe.
When first playing this game, it's kind of difficult to tell just what kind of game it is.
Is it strategy? There was some arcade action in it.
It had some role-playing elements.
It was difficult to tell just what kind of game it was.
I thought this was going to be one of those games that tries to be all things to all people and ends up not being enough of any one thing.
And you're not entirely wrong about that, but the main thrust of Across the Rhine is to give the player an overall feel for actual tank battle, which does include some strategy and some action.
There are various levels of command available. The easiest is as the leader of a platoon, which consists of several men or units.
The next level is as a leader of a company, which is made up of several platoons.
The highest level of command is the leader of a brigade, which gives the player command over all the companies.
The player gives marching orders to the units under his command and controls the battle from there. It's just like any other strategy sim, right?
Actually, no. What sets this game apart is the fact that the player can also take part in the battle firsthand through this nifty little screen, which shows a first-person view from a tank.
The player can actually fight in the battle, driving around the countryside, shooting at the Germans.
What a strange feature to throw into a strategy game.
Hey, it's not that bad. This gives a larger sense of reality to the game, you know? Instead of ordering around units that shoot, fire, and are destroyed by the computer's preset percentages. This adds that human element to war.
Well, when I'm trying to control an entire army, the last thing I want to do is drive one tank around the battlefield.
But that's where this first-person feature is most useful. When you're playing as the commander of a platoon, you can't give orders to any other units except your own.
So what's the use of even playing if I can't order around my army?
But that's the beauty of this portion of the game. Instead of being in command of the forces, in Across the Rhine, the player is actually part of the forces.
But at this level of play, you might as well be playing something like Armored Fist.
Yeah, that's the only drawback. When you're at the platoon level, pretty much all you can do is drive and shoot. Although, you do have access to order artillery fire, airstrikes, and air recon.
And while the graphics are good, the movement is real choppy in the first-person game.
Adding to this mix of game styles, Across the Rhine has a very distinct role-playing quality to it, since you create an officer to play as.
The computer lets you choose to fight as an American or a German soldier. Just put in your name and the rank you want to start off as, and you're off.
As a character, you can gain points, get promoted, earn medals and awards, even get killed. Every battle you play, your character is in one of the tanks. If that tank gets destroyed, and your character along with it, your game is over.
Even if you're winning the battle, when your character dies, so does your game.
There are several different modes of play in Across the Rhine. You can play a number of historical or hypothetical battles, or you can play in the campaign mode.
In the single battles, you get to choose what level of command you're at. But in the campaign mode, whatever level your character is in, that's the level you'll control.
When playing a campaign, you can choose from 3 different routes taken in the actual invasion of Europe. Once you choose which route to take part in, you decide the point at which you wish to enter the campaign.
The routes begin right after D-Day and continue through crossing the Rhine into Germany. But there are several points along the way where you can enter, so you don't have to play the entire campaign if you want to take part in a series of battles that occurred right before crossing into Germany.
The only real functional problem with Across the Rhine is the time it takes parts of the game to load.
And how. The installation program gives you the choice of copying files to your hard drive for faster access, but even after I downloaded 47 megabytes, it still took forever to load parts of the program, especially the battles.
And while the installation lets you know what the files that you load onto your hard drive contain, it didn't give any indication as to which files would speed up the game the most.
Even though the gameplay is fine, waiting for parts of the game to load,
and we're talking about some considerable load times,
almost make you want to give up playing the thing.
The packing of Across the Rhine is one of its better features.
The menu screens have backgrounds made up of full-motion video or photographs from World War II.
It also includes a battle editor so you can put together your own scenarios.
The well-written manual was accompanied by a historical documentary in book form, although both the manual and the book could have used more pictures and diagrams.
But helping to ease that problem was a companion CD-ROM that runs out of Windows, which is a fairly in-depth documentary covering the part of the war featured in the game.
It features a ton of great video from the war, plus it has full narration. It's all very well done. Check this out.
Beginning on June 6, 1944, the Allied forces assaulting German-held Europe would attempt to turn against Adolf Hitler the very weapon that had won him a continent: armor.
Across the Rhine isn't your typical World War II strategy game. In fact, on the platoon level, it plays more like a tank sim than strategy game.
You know, I wasn't too fond of the fact that I was a character in the game, that I just couldn't control all of the forces without having to worry about my personal tank getting destroyed.
Well, you aren't the kind of person this game is aimed at. The kind of person who will like Across the Rhine is the World War II history buff. People after a strategy game should go buy a pure strategy game. And people after a tank sim should go buy a pure tank sim. This is a game that'll be most enjoyed by the person who wants to get the feel of the entire range of battle. There was certainly strategy involved in the real thing, and there was also combat action. And in real war, when your tank blows up, you're going up with it. Across the Rhine is an attempt to simulate the overall feel of battle, and not just one part of it.
That's all well and good, but I still think that they should have gone one way or the other with it. Sometimes it feels like they put their creative energies in too many directions, and all the individual parts of the game suffered for it.